How's it going, guys? My name's Wilson. Last week, I made a video on the only NBA franchises to never make the NBA Finals. If you haven't checked that out, just click on the link above. But today, let's talk about the remaining teams to never win an NBA championship but made the finals only to come up short to superior opponents. Starting off with the Phoenix Suns, one of the 5 teams on this list, 27 years and counting. Since their last finals appearance, it doesn't look like the franchise will make it back anytime soon. Perhaps the most heartbreaking team, coming so close for 3 different decades. The franchise started in the 68-69 season, made the conference finals 9 total times, the NBA finals twice, starting from their first finals appearance, 1976, the team's 8th season. The West wasn't as strong outside of Golden State, snatched the 4 seed, a total of 18 teams back then, led by Paul Westphal, Keith Erickson, traded for Garfield Hurd after losing 18 of 23 games heading into the All-Star break, Alvin Adams, Ricky Sobers, and a reserve Pat Riley. Adams, the lone All-Star that season, knocked off the Seattle Sonics, led by Westphal's 24 points, shockingly eliminated the defending champion Warriors in 7 games, a 42-win team beating a 59-win contender. Absolutely embarrassing for Golden State, having 3 All-Stars in Rick Barry, Jamal Wilkes, and Phil Smith, a moment that would elevate the Suns franchise. After Sobers and Barry got into an altercation first half of Game 7, none of Barry's teammates did anything to help him out. After watching the tape at halftime, Barry refused to shoot the ball as a sign of protest, let a championship slip away. Phoenix outscored Golden State by 14 in the second half, shocked the entire NBA against the heavy favorite Boston Celtics, led by 3 All-Stars John Havlicek, Dave Cowens, and JoJo White in the finals. Adams and Westphal each averaged over 20. Wouldn't go down without a fight. Game 5 of the 76 finals remains one of the best games in NBA history. Phoenix called timeout without having any left, technical foul, advanced the ball, tied the game with a Garfield Hurst jumper, sent the game to triple overtime, but Phoenix came up short 128-126. Boston was simply the better team, with Cowens and Charlie Smith sealing Game 6. Despite the loss, Phoenix was called the Cinderellas. Longtime fans appreciate this team to this very day. The franchise made 3 more conference finals in 84, 89, and 90, losing to Magic's Lakers twice and to Clyde Drexler's Blazers, made it back to the finals in 93 after acquiring superstar Charles Barkley, won a franchise best 62 games, had a bit of a scare in the first round beating the 8-seeded Lakers in 5, overcoming David Robinson's Spurs after a game-winning jumper by Chuck to seal the series. The MVP refused to let his team lose in the conference finals against the hungry Sonics. Barkley had 43 and 15 in Game 5, a masterful 44 and 24 Game 7. The team also had All-Star Dan Marley, one of the best point guards in Kevin Johnson, good role players Richard Dumas, Danny Ainge, Cedric Ceballos, and Tom Chambers, but no match for Jordan's Bulls. MJ destroyed everybody on that Suns team. Johnson went a horrendous 6 of 21 in Games 1 and 2 combined, played much better the next 4 games, but it was too late. Falling in 6, the franchise wouldn't get back to the finals, lost to Hakeem's Rockets twice the following 2 seasons, which leads us to the Steve Nash, Mike D'Antoni era, won a league best 62 games in 2005, Nash the MVP, dominated Memphis and Dallas before falling to San Antonio, D'Antoni's kryptonite. A 5-game series, Joe Johnson missed the first 2 games with injury, losing both to the Spurs. The following season, Amari missed all but 3 games. In 07, 61 wins for Phoenix, matched up with the Spurs in the semis. Robert Horry's cheap shot on Nash led to Amari's and Boris Diaw's suspension for Game 5. The winner of that series was pretty much guaranteed the NBA champion, had their final crack at the title in 2010, falling to Kobe's Lakers in 6, ending the Nash-Stoudemire era. Phoenix hasn't made the playoffs since. The Orlando Magic. The franchise also made 2 finals appearances. First existed in the 89-90 season, got off to a slow start before the arrival of Shaquille O'Neal, led the Magic to immediate success. After trading for Penny Hardaway the following year, the team had a bright future. With Jordan retired, many believe Orlando would be the next dynasty. In just Shaq's 3rd season, All-Star Horace Grant signed as a free agent from the Bulls. The Big Diesel came in 2nd for MVP voting, averaged almost 30 points a game. Hardaway was emerging as a superstar. Nick Anderson 16 points a game, alongside sharpshooter Dennis Scott. Being a plus 450 in the 95 preseason odds, the Magic easily knocked off the Celtics in round 1, eliminated Jordan's Bulls in the semis. MJ wasn't at full strength coming back from baseball. Grant torched his former team, put up 18 and 11, went on to knock off the Indiana Pacers in 7 games to get to the finals. In the showdown between the 2 giants, 32-year-old Hakeem Olajuwon, just too much for 23-year-old Shaq. Hakeem simply outscored O'Neal every series, outplayed him. Orlando was in the position to win Game 1, but Nick Anderson's free throw meltdown still haunts the franchise to this very day. his career would never be the same again. Missing 4 straight foul shots, Kenny Smith and Hakeem capitalized, knocking down clutch shots, absolutely stunned the young Magic, who never recovered. Eventually swept by the more experienced Rockets, a motivated Jordan swept the Magic the following year. O'Neal would stun everyone by signing with the Lakers. The franchise would either miss the playoffs or lose in the first round until 2008. Signed Grant Hill, depleted by injuries. Superstar Tracy McGrady had little to work with. The franchise's magic turned tragic. After being super close to signing superstar Tim Duncan in summer 2000, Grant Hill admitted head coach Doc Rivers told Timmy his family couldn't travel on the team flight, a huge mistake. Duncan went on to win 4 more titles with San Antonio. Orlando traded McGrady in summer 2004, drafted Dwight Howard first overall, brought the team back to relevancy, won 52 games in 08, led by Dwight, Hedo Turkoglu, Rashad Lewis, and Jameer Nelson. Under coach Stan Van Gundy, the team won 59 games in 09. With the Garnett injury, Orlando knocked off the short-handed Celtics in the semis, eliminated LeBron's Cavs. Howard was a man possessed, averaged 26 and 13, a 40-point Game 6 closeout, but no match for Kobe's Lakers. Dwight choked away 2 free throws in Game 4, lost in 5 games, eliminated by a healthy Boston team the following year. Orlando started to fall apart. Howard became more frustrated, left the team in 2012, leading to a 6-year playoff drought. The franchise continues to be bad to mediocre ever since, won't be contending anytime soon. The Brooklyn Nets. The franchise started in the ABA the 67-68 season, won 2 titles under Dr. J. Because of financial issues, Irving signed with the Sixers, haunting the Nets franchise for a long time. The team never got past the semis until the famous Stephon Marbury for Jason Kidd trade. The rest was history. After winning 26 games the season before, Kidd helped double the franchise's win total, went from a lottery team to the NBA Finals after a season, knocked off Indiana, Charlotte, and Boston, led by the MVP runner-up, the best point guard in the league at the time. Role players Kenyon Martin, Kerry Kittles, Keith Van Horn, and young Richard Jefferson all got better under Kidd, but the team was no match for Shaq and Kobe's Lakers. Kidd once again led the team to the finals in 03 after sweeping the Celtics and Pistons, but no chance against Duncan's Spurs. New Jersey didn't have a go-to scorer to rely on. At least they won 2 games in the 03 finals. The Kid Carter years were fun but underachieving, while the Darren Williams years highly disappointing. Billy King mistakenly traded their picks for past their prime Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett. The franchise made it back to the playoffs in 2019 after a 4-year drought. Now with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, the Nets still seek for their first ever NBA championship. Very intriguing to see for the next few years. The Utah Jazz, still haunted by Michael Jordan's greatness, the franchise came into existence during the 74-75 season, spent the first 5 years in New Orleans, led by Pistol Pete Maravich. The team wasn't any good, didn't make the playoffs its first 9 seasons until making it for 20 straight years. Led by explosive scorer Adrian Dantley and Darrell Griffin, before Malone and Stockton became superstars, the duo played 18 seasons together, always reliable and consistent, went through plenty of bumps and bruises, won 50+ games 9 times in 10 years, 6 first-round exits in the tough West, made it to their first ever conference finals in '92, falling to Clyde Drexler's Blazers, had good role players in Jeff Malone, Tyrone Corbin, and Mark Eaton. 2 years later, denied by Hakeem's Rockets, Utah won 60 games in '95, knocked off by the Dream again. The franchise came up short to the 64-win Sonics in '96, a win away from the finals. The mailman failed to deliver that Sunday, missed 2 clutch free throws down 3. The Sonics sealed it, winning 90-86. '97 was the team's best shot, won a franchise best 64 games. Malone got the best of Shaq in the semis. Stockton sent the franchise to their first ever finals. After a walk-off game-winning 3 to close out Houston, the mailman once again failed to deliver on Sunday, missed 2 late free throws in game 1. Moments later, Jordan hit a walk-off game winner. Utah also blew back-to-back fourth-quarter leads in game 5 and 6. MJ was just too good. The franchise went 62-20, had home court in '98. After winning game 1, Chicago's defense suffocated Utah, held the Jazz to an average 80.2 points the whole series. Utah didn't crack 90 once. After Malone's 39-point effort in game 5, Jordan ripped the hearts out of the whole state of Utah, leaving Malone and Stockton ringless forever. Had a nice run during the late 2000s under Jerry Sloan, the Darren Williams, Carlos Boozer, Andre Kirilenko, Mehmet Okur days, made it back to the conference finals in '07, but knocked off by Kobe's Lakers from '08 to 2010, ending that era. Utah's now a good team under Quinn Snyder, making the playoffs every year since 2017, but will need to get better to seriously contend. The Indiana Pacers. The franchise started in the 67-68 season, the ABA days, won 3 titles in the 70s before the merger, led by George McGinnis, Mel Daniels, and Roger Brown. The franchise struggled in the NBA an entire 80s, didn't make it past the first round till 94, being in the small market, led by sensational sharpshooter Reggie Miller, averaged 25 in the 94 conference finals, a 39-point masterpiece in Game 5, lost by 4 in Game 7 to New York, but eliminated the same Knicks the following year, only to fall short to the Magic. After a disappointing 96 and 97 season, the team traded Eric Dampier for Chris Mullin in summer 97, arguably the best Pacer team in franchise history, a loaded squad with Miller, Rick Smith, Mullin, Antonio Davis, Jalen Rose, and Dale Davis, coached by Larry Bird, made Jordan and the Bulls work for every possession, took the back-to-back defending champs to 7 games. Indy even had an 8-point lead after 1, made life difficult for MJ, who didn't shoot the ball well in Game 7, but Chicago grabbed 22 offensive rebounds, the Pacers only 4, Indy couldn't score in the last 2 minutes, resulting in an 88-83 Bulls win. The team remained competitive for the next few seasons, but came up short to the Knicks in the 99 conference finals, led by Larry Johnson's 4-point play in Game 3, losing in 6, but would earn the #1 seed in the East in 2000, led by Miller and Rose. The franchise made their first ever finals appearance, but Shaq absolutely destroyed Indy, scored between 33 to 43 points each of those 6 games. Kobe held Reggie to 1 of 16 shooting in Game 1. In Game 2, Jalen Rose purposely extended his foot by injuring Kobe on purpose. An absolute dirty play. Bryant would be limited to 9 minutes of Game 2, miss all of Game 3, before giving Indy a taste of their own medicine, took over down the stretch in the clutch, winning Game 4. LA closed out Game 6, ruining the Pacers' title hopes. The franchise went on to have 3 straight first-round exits, before winning 61 games in 2004, with prime Jermaine O'Neal and Ron Artest fell to the Pistons in 6. A defensive physical conference final series, 2005 was supposed to be the franchise's best season, but in just the 9th game of the season, malice in the palace occurred. Ron Artest suspended for the whole season. While O'Neal and Steven Jackson missed time, the short-handed Pacers lost to the same Pistons in the semis without Artest, who would be traded the middle of the following season. The franchise didn't get competitive again until the Paul George, Danny Granger, Roy Hibbert era, became relevant in 2012, but fell to LeBron and Wade's Heat 3 straight years, took the champs to 7 games in the 2013 conference finals, but was simply not good enough against Miami. The franchise remains mediocre ever since, eliminated out the first round the last 4 seasons. It appears to be looking that way for the foreseeable future, unless the Pacers sign more quality players. Those were the 5 franchises to have made the finals, but have yet to win an NBA championship. Utah, Phoenix, and Indiana were the only teams that had a legit chance, but denied by the great Michael Jordan. The 93 Suns and 97 Jazz remains 2 of the top teams to have never won a championship. The 2000 Pacers had a long shot. If it wasn't for Rose injuring Kobe, the Lakers might have even swept the Pacers. The 95 Magic, too young, too inexperienced against the veteran Rockets. Young Dwight had no chance against Kobe in 09. New Jersey played in the weak East, wasn't on the same level with LA and San Antonio. Which one of these franchises do you think will be next to win a title? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this video. I love all of you. See you next time.